Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything for the CrossFit Linchpin private track closed Facebook group. That's a mouthful right there. Today is May 13th, 2021. Got the questions laid out in front of me. We'll dive right in. And if you're listening to this when it gets posted as a podcast, audio-wise, you won't be able to tell, but if you're watching it on our YouTube channel or on a video, I haven't shaved since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is day 4 not shaving. Our oldest boy, Deacon, kind of said, you always shave. I've never seen what you look like if you just don't shave. And I was like, okay, tell you what, fair enough. I won't shave this week. And so he's fascinated. Emily, my wife, absolutely despises it, so she's being a trooper. Let's dive right in. Here we go. First question of the day, most upvoted from Eric C.M. Eric, where are you? Here you go. Okay. CrossFit does a lot of things very well. What is it doing wrong? So without further clarification of Eric's question, I don't know if he's talking about CrossFit, the methodology, the fitness regime, or CrossFit, the institution, the organization, the company. I think that's what he's referring to, so that's the nature in which I'm going to answer it. So, admittedly, as he says, CrossFit does a lot of things right, and I would have to agree with that. What is it doing wrong? Is an interesting word, because that means currently doing something wrong. What popped into my head was something that traditionally, historically I should say, would be an area that CrossFit as an organization had significant room to improve. And that would be with affiliate relations, and just supporting the affiliates around the world, tools, resources, open dialogue back and forth, communication, making everybody feel like they're on board the same team for the big win, moving forward, and not an us versus them, such as there's the CrossFit headquarters element, and then all the affiliates, and there's a barrier in the middle. Historically, that sense was out there, but I will say that I believe the new ownership is making active strides in changing that and making that better and making the affiliate communication better and the support better and giving everybody the feeling that we are all on the same team, moving forward with the same goals. So that would be my answer to that question, and that's my historic answer. But I do believe we're on a better path with the new ownership. So and that makes me, as an affiliate owner, that makes me extraordinarily happy because that's exactly how it should be. Next question was from James W. All right, James, where are you, sir? Let me scroll around in my questions. Okay. Is this what I'm talking about? Yes. James W. What cues do you look for or use to differentiate? I'm quite sore from yesterday's workout, but I can push through today's workout, compared to, even though today is not a scheduled rest day, I'm going to take it because I feel like trash. So I guess, how do I differentiate normal level soreness? Yep, okay to do today's workout versus, gonna go ahead and modify the schedule and today do nothing. So one of the biggest things I use to regulate that is my sleep. When my sleep's on point, a lot of other things can slide a little bit, other stressors in my life, but if the sleep's on point, I'm okay. When the sleep starts to fade, be it intentionally, because I am intentionally getting up earlier than normal because I just have stuff that I have to do and I'm making a conscious decision to get less sleep, that's going to affect how I feel. It's going to affect my recovery. It's going to affect workouts and the decisions that I make. Listening to my body in general. So now, outside of stress, how's the diet been? Outside of sleep, how's the diet been? And all the other little stressors in life, from familial relations to relationships with your friends to what's going on at work to financial obligations to whatever it happens to be. Those are all little points that will either put a smile on your face or put a frown on your face. And everyone that puts a frown on your face does have well, maybe by itself, small, but they all add up to, they accumulate some level of stress that will affect how you feel that day and whether or not you should go after it in the workout or give yourself both a physical and or mental break from the workout. Like sometimes we just need a down day, a relaxing day. But my primary one is sleep, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, trust me, after 16 years of CrossFit, I've been plenty sore. And I've got enough reps and experience under my belt to say that it's a moving target. So sometimes I might be profoundly sore, but what I'll do that I think novice CrossFitters or new CrossFitters don't do, and it's a mistake, and hopefully they stop this mistake soon before it costs them in the long run, is I think there's some bizarre, totally unwarranted pressure that you've got to hit the workout every day. And not only do you have to hit the workout every day, you need to just sell your soul to the devil. High intensity means maximal intensity. Every time I'm in the gym, I go for broke, and I'm just laying the ground in a pool of sweat, hyperventilating. I got nothing left. Absolutely, positively incorrect, inaccurate, inefficient, inappropriate, and not sustainable. But I believe that as a younger CrossFitter, a less experienced CrossFitter. And so now that I know that is not the way, that the way to having a balance in life, the way to making CrossFit or anything, I don't care if you're just a runner, just a bodybuilder, just a powerlifter, just a whatever, the key to being able to do it well, not for a month or a year, but 5 years, 10 years, 15 years with real, true sustainability, is to give yourself the grace to dial back on certain knobs and realize that you're not doing anything negative to your fitness by dialing back some knobs. Potentially quite the opposite. You're doing great things for your fitness, your body, your recovery, and your long-term health and fitness. So what I mean by that is, just like I'll modulate anything else, I've got no problem with maybe I'm very sore from a workout. The next day, yeah, my choices are don't work out at all, do the workout, pour my heart and soul into it, or do the workout and rein it back. And rein it back is just another way to say modify, scale, adjust, whatever that is. And that's a fantastic option that I don't think enough people take advantage of, because if you are quite sore, okay, and let's say that, yeah, you can take a full day off, and we chatted about this in an AMA recently about basically active recovery. You could kind of turn your workout into a sort of active recovery. Maybe it's not quite as low intensity as active recovery, but it's nowhere near, it's not a high intensity workout by any stretch of the imagination. It's moderate intensity. At the most, it's moderate intensity. And because there is tremendous benefit, if you want to relieve that soreness, to keeping your body moving, to moving your joints through a full range of motion, to getting your engine going a little bit, to touching some loading. And so looking at whatever that workout is, and maybe the loading's okay, keep it, dial back the intensity. Maybe the loading is a bit robust for however you're feeling that day. Who cares? Lower the weight. You're going to be fine. Lower the weight and lower the intensity and just move and allow yourself that grace to just move. And on top of that, another option that you have is don't even start the darn clock, right? Then that pressure's gone. You can't even know how you did if you want to. Just move your body, full range of motion, get a good sweat going, cool down, stretch, go home. Didn't worry about intensity, didn't worry about loading, and chances are that for some people might leave you feeling better in the long run than had you utterly and completely blown off the workout that day. Don't get me wrong, there are times to blow it off when it is what it is, but that active recovery session-ish can be a great way to go also. Let's see. I had a couple of the notes, make sure I don't get too far off. Oh, so I did this to some degree recently. So was it Monday that we did Linchpin Test 5? Is that the day that it was? Did we start the week with Linchpin Test 5? Wow, what a welcome that was on Monday. So, for time, 20 back squats at 2 1/4 or 155, 2 mile run, then another 20 back squats at that same loading. I intentionally went into that workout, broke up those sets of 20 back squats into 4 sets of 5 every single time, gave myself about 30 seconds rest between each set because I knew that even still doing that, it was going to dose up my legs. But if I bit off bigger chunks, that the soreness was going to be next level. Didn't want that. And even doing Linchpin Test 5 the way that I did, I was still tender, as a matter of fact. So Tuesday, what I did with those tender legs, just over the course of the day, randomly, I can't tell you how frequently I did it. I didn't time it specifically, but I would just stop and do 5 really slow air squats. And then I would just go on with my day. And then an hour later, stop, I would do 5 nice slow air squats. And I did that all day long. And so that wasn't a workout, but it was to some degree kind of a little bit of gentle active recovery, if you will, with no loading and no intensity. I just would pass my legs through a nice full range of motion and start to break up that soreness a little bit, and that paid off greatly by the end of the day and the next day as well. So there are ways that you can treat your body, or protocols that you can do, be it modifying your workout or doing some active recovery, taking the full rest day, to make what we're doing sustainable. And that is, without a doubt, the key. Those are the keys to the castle. And the sooner people do that, I think they'll have a happier, longer, more experience in CrossFit. I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole here, I don't want to pigeonhole people into one category, right? But I will say this, and I will say it with a lot of confidence. Over the course of however many years I've been doing this, I have talked to a tremendous number of people, heard a huge number of people's stories, grievances, complaints. I've heard what worked well. I've heard the hard lessons learned, the whole 9 yards. The overwhelming majority of people need to do less. And what I mean by that is, they'll do the workout's not enough and they pile something else onto it, or less by the sense of giving themselves grace to ratchet down the intensity. They just feel like they have to murder themselves every day in the gym, and you don't. You actually need to do a little bit less every now and then with regards to intensity in the gym. And that will give you that sustainability, make your body feel better, allow you to hit some workouts even harder and then recover when you need to. But I think that doing less or implementing less intensity every now and then, again, for the novice CrossFitter, is not something at the forefront of their mind. And so that's why we try to be very vocal about it here at Linchpin. So, good question, James. All right. Next one is from Luis V, who basically asked how the book was going. So let's see. I want to get the wording appropriate. Months ago, you mentioned a book you were working on. How is this progressing? Slowly, Luis. It's progressing slowly. It's progressing, but it's progressing slowly. I want to do it right. I don't want to do it quickly. Would probably be a nice encapsulation of that. And there are certain things that I need to do. There's a bunch of stuff I need to do every day that absolutely, without question, has to get done in order to keep the ship moving forward, from programming to warm-ups to the Instagram live videos to editing those videos to posting them on YouTube to the Ask Me Anything to the researching the questions to the whole 9 yards. There are things that on a system and a schedule have to get done. That doesn't fall into that category. So if and when time makes itself available, it gets a little bit of time here, it gets a little bit of time there, etc., etc. So what the timeline is on that, I don't have any idea. But it is still moving forward in a good direction. The overwhelming majority of it is done, I will say that. But the funny thing is the last 20% is almost the toughest 20% because the first 80% can get in there in bulk, in raw form, and a bit rough. But then that last 20% is the fine details, the nuances, the polishing, the connecting everything nicely so it flows and has a sequence, and that it just takes the time that it takes. It can't be rushed. So it's going. It's going. And then, another thing of just doing what's got to get done. Life is full at the moment. I've got a little baby girl coming in 7 weeks. And I'm sure that's going to be, I don't ever want to refer to my unborn baby daughter as disruptive. That would be a bad thing to say. But when the pregnancy occurs and we go to the hospital and, those things have to happen, that will obviously disrupt the normal flow that occurs on life, whether that's a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. And like I said, things have to get done every single day for CrossFit Linchpin to keep on schedule for things to happen as they need to happen, for programming and content and accessory works and the whole 9 yards. So I know that I have for lack of a better way to say it, significant disruption for an unknown period of time looming in the future about 7 weeks out. So now what I'm doing on top of trying to do everything that I have to do is get up a little early, sacrifice some sleep, whatever it has to be to get ahead, so that I'd like to get at least a couple weeks ahead so I have a bit of a buffer so that when my daughter is born, I still will have to do stuff every day. It's just the nature of what I do. But the lion's share of it will be done on the side and ready to be implemented, and that will give me a bit of breathing room to, be present for the birth of my daughter and things like that. So, all relating back to what you said, Louise, something like the book that I'm writing there, which is on programming, that's not mission critical at the moment. So something like that will take a back burner, back seat while I focus on, some of these other things that just, without question, have risen to the top of the line. So, okay. Ed T. Ed, where's your question, sir? Let's see. Ed T. There we are. Okay, Ed. Okay, good question, right. So basically wanted to know, have I thought about programming like a foundations class that could be used for 6 to 8 weeks after somebody signs up for Linchpin, if they so desire. Some people may need it, some people may not need it. You discuss scaling, and you're very persuasive about how important it is, but I'm not sure people truly understand it. So, funny that you mentioned that, Ed. Funny that you mentioned that. Yes, I have been working in conjunction with somebody else as well to put something like that together. And there's a few phases to it, 3 phases actually. 2 of the phases are done, and the 3rd phase is what has to be finished. And I actually just funny texted somebody about that this morning. And so the answer is yes, something like that is in the works, and I think it will be valuable, and I think it will be very well received. It's going to be well done. It's going to be a high quality product. So, Ed, perfect question, and the answer is yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay, Kelly H. Kelly, where are you? I think you're down near the bottom, if I remember correctly. I do not remember correctly. You are not down by the bottom. Kelly, where are you? Okay, here we go. All right, you talked in another AMA or Linchpin conversation about how to pick your days, workout days that is, if life only allows you time for 2 to 3 workouts a week. But how should someone pick their workouts when they're cross-training with other modalities and can only get in 2 to 3 a week because they're either cycling or running in addition to CrossFit? I'm guessing to pick a heavy day, but what about the other 2? So Kelly H. First of all, yes. I think if you're going to do 2 to 3 CrossFit workouts a week, in addition to a focus on cycling, a focus on running, a focus on whatever the other sport or activity happens to be, I would say making sure one of those workouts is a heavy day is an absolutely excellent call. So, without diving into it too much, I would say one heavy day, a classic heavy day, would be fantastic. Second day, a mixed modality day, meaning not just weightlifting, not just gymnastics, not just body weight, but a mixture of those three. Couplet, triplet, 4-time, AMRAP, whatever it happens to be, but probably mixed modality, moderate loading, I think would be fantastic. And then a third one would be also probably mixed modality, but with a bit of an emphasis or a lean towards the gymnastics side of the house, body weight side of the house. So maybe if there are 3 movements in the workout, 2 of them are body weight movements and 1 of them has external loading. That would be so 2 out of 3 going towards the body weight. So 1 heavy day, 1 mixed modality, and then 1 with a bit of a lean towards the body weight, I think would be fantastic. But we can get a bit more sophisticated with it as well, okay? So maybe you could alternate a little something week after week after week. So maybe that's what week 1 looks like in addition to your running or cycling or whatever the other training is. Maybe on week 2, you're going to replace the classic heavy day, and that day will now choose one of the heavy days at a high heart rate. So you're still getting a heavy bias, but you're doing it with a bit of variance. Then you could have your mixed modality workout, and then maybe a pure gymnastics workout. Then on week 3, you could go back to a classic heavy day, a mixed modality, and then a third workout, if you so desire as well. But mixing like that also will give you a great bit of variance instead of just choosing exactly a classic heavy day every single week and exactly a mixed modality, or exactly one that's 2 gymnastics and 1 weightlifting, or whatever it happens to be. What I would also do, depending upon what your sport happens to be, again, running, cycling, kayaking, rock climbing, whatever it is, I would look at your sport that you're training for, and then I would look at how does your body move in that other particular activity that you're doing, and then what is it missing, so to speak. So for example, if you are biking or running, well, right off the bat, there are some things you're not getting. You're not getting external loading. So getting external loading on your CrossFit days, absolutely you should do that. Biking or cycling, they're not going to take you through a full range of motion about your joints. You're certainly not going below parallel. So I would make sure that I'm getting myself below parallel, because something like running and cycling, is a very limited repetitive range of motion on your lower body. It'd be wonderfully beneficial not only for your long-term health and joint health, but to strengthen those extremities as well. Again, pass them through a full range of motion. Overhead, are you pulling from the ground? Are you hinging from the hip? Whatever it happens to be. If maybe, if you're cycling, for example, if maybe most of your cycle training, when you look at it, is somewhat repetitive, meaning long, slow distance, then, well, you can identify what you're lacking there. You're not really hitting very short time domains, high intensity sprint interval style training. So maybe it would be very beneficial for you to make sure that you're getting some bike sprints, or I would actually say mixed modality would be great. So if you're living on the bike, row sprints, 100-meter dash on foot, 8x200-meter repeats, 40-yard dash, or whatever it happens to be. Again, the best blueprint for what you should choose, you can identify that by looking at what the other modality is lacking, and that will help you make some really good choices there. So, yeah, and that obviously gets my full support. I mean, I'm a huge fan of people using what they build in CrossFit to go out into the real world or into other sports or to adventure races or for a hike or a softball league. I don't care what it is, but just getting out there and getting that exposure, I think that's fantastic. I mentioned this before. One of my goals for the community, if the COVID restrictions start to loosen up and whatnot, I would love to get together and do some Spartan races, or um, I'm missing these. Like, there's a few that are somewhat similar. Right? There's Spartan race and there's some other ones. Whatever is the one that's most popular and people enjoy. I would love to get together, do something like that. You've got some running, you've got some obstacles, you're climbing up ropes, you're going over rings, you're climbing over walls. You're actually getting to get out, breathe heavy, use your fitness out in hopefully the sunshine. Hopefully it's a sunny day. And so we'll have to do those for some Linchpin meetups. So getting out there and actually using your fitness, fantastic. Kelly, keep it up. So that's it. Enjoy your rest day, whether you're taking a full rest day or you're going to make it an active rest day, whatever it happens to be. Enjoy. I appreciate everybody being so awesome out there in the Linchpin community. And I'll see you tomorrow on the old Beyond the Whiteboard leaderboard, I guess.